Hey everyone, I am Exit over here, and I'm here to review The Flash Season 5 mid-season premiere, Episode 10, The Flash and the Furious. So this is the 15th movie in the Flash and the Furious movie franchise, and it's just as great as ever. There's going to be huge spoilers for the episode from this point on. So this episode of The Flash, it kind of had a lot riding on it. The cliffhanger at the end of episode 8, the 100th, showing Nora talking to Eobard, kind of set precedence for what this episode should be as a follow-up. Since episode 8 ended on a cliffhanger, and since that was technically the mid-season final, Elseworlds, I guess, is kind of removed from everything else that happened in the normal episodes of the show. So this episode really had a lot riding on it. It was supposed to pick up straight after it and give us a reason to care about the second half of the season. The mid-season premieres of the shows always have a lot riding on them. The only thing is that despite my love for the Arrowverse, the mid-season premieres very rarely ever deliver. I think I've only really liked 3 mid-season premieres out of all of the shows ever. And so honestly, for that reason, over the years, I've kind of found my hype for the mid-season premieres kind of diminishing, because I just feel like the shows never really get into their proper stride until around episodes 14 or 15. That said, however, I didn't think that this episode was that bad. I actually found a lot of enjoyment in it. I know that there's a lot of people who really didn't like this episode, and I can see why. It's a slower paced episode. It's very much kind of filler, setting up characters that at the moment we shouldn't necessarily care about. This episode definitely came at a point where there was much more to do, or there's much more they should have done. But coming into this episode thinking I'd hate it, because I'm always one of Flash's worst critics. I loved the show in the first 2 seasons, and I've kind of hated it the last 2 seasons. But that said, I really found myself finding a lot of enjoyment in it. It's very obvious that they had a lot to deal around. Ralph's actor obviously isn't there. Joe's actor's gone. It was said in the episode that Joe's off visiting Wally with the baby Jenna, and Ralph was off visiting his mother. They also had to juggle around Grant Gustin's disappearance. Well, not disappearance. Grant Gustin not being on set, because I think he was doing one of 2 things at this point. I think he was either filming Elseworlds or he was probably celebrating his wedding. It was one of those 2 things, but either way, it coupled for the fact that he probably wasn't on set for most of this episode. Or, well, he wasn't on set for most of this episode. It was obvious. He was in the pipeline for a lot of the episode. So they had to juggle a lot around that. And unfortunately, the biggest crux for the episode comes from Grant not being really in the forefront, because instead of Grant, they didn't focus on, say, Sherlock or Iris. No, they focused on Nora, a character who, while started off promising, has continually gotten worse and worse. And I'm gonna admit, after this episode, I really think Nora is my least favorite Flash character. Maybe ever. I'm just finding her character insufferable, very irredeeming, and the fact that her main story arc is basically that she makes a dumb move every episode and needs to get it fixed by other members of Team Flash, or she needs to get it fixed by someone helping her out with it. And she's going to be making more stupid decisions, as it seems like she's going to be letting Eobard Thawne out of prison. But we'll get to that in a bit. Still on to how terrible Nora was. I'm finding her character, I just don't care about her character. And it's not that I just don't care about her character, it's went from not really caring, being a little bit annoyed of her character, to downright hating her character. She's becoming not just one of my least favorite characters in Flash, but one of my least favorite characters in the entire Arrowverse. The villains this episode, Silver Ghost and Weather Witch, I really enjoyed. I thought it was great to see one of the villains actually be remorseful about the crimes they committed in a previous episode, and it wasn't the same as Leonard Snart or Mick Rory. Leonard Snart and Mick Rory, they had an entire season worth of episodes where they were being bad guys until they kind of started to realize they might be good guys. Hell, Mick Rory never even really had a redeeming part until Legends of Tomorrow. Mick Rory was a villain straight up until the end of Legends of Tomorrow Season 1. And Leonard Snart, while he started to kind of go into hero territory at the end of his tenure in The Flash, it really wasn't until Legends of Tomorrow when he really started becoming a proper hero. So it was really, I think this is the first time we've seen a villain on this show just be really remorseful for their actions and really want to kind of repent for them, I guess. I thought that was good. And despite really not liking her episode, or the character in her debut episode, I thought she was actually pretty damn good here. We got some more progress on Sherlock investigating Nora and the Speed Force language. I'm enjoying that. Sherlock is definitely probably the most uninteresting Wells we've had yet. I still think Harry is the best Wells, then HR, then, well, Wells O'Barr, I don't know if he counts, but he's up there. But Sherlock is definitely pretty low on the list. But I thought it was nice to see him really investigating, being smart, and he really wants to get to the bottom of this, so much so that he's actually gone talking to Gideon about trying to get Nora's files, to which have been deleted. We had a new plot with Cisco and Caitlin, and this was another problematic part of the episode. Cisco and Caitlin are trying to Cisco is trying to create a metahuman cure using negative dark matter from the I'm so sorry, it might not even be dark matter. I've just watched Star Trek Discovery and that was a pretty big part in it, so maybe I'm getting it mixed up, but I think it was negative dark matter or negative dark matter particles. God, for the life of me, I can't remember what the hell it's called. But yeah, that from Cicada's dagger to basically reverse engineer the metagene, get rid of it, and create a cure. Caitlin is all the way against this. She's like, listen, Cisco, what the frickin' frick? We are not making a metahuman cure, and if you think we are, then you got a different thing coming, pal. And Cisco's like, jeez, Caitlin, calm down. No one's forcing this cure on anyone. 2, what the hell about the bad guys out there, the ones that kill people? Do you think that we should just let them keep their powers? And 3, last time I checked, you weren't affected by Cicada's dagger, so shouldn't this not affect you? Shouldn't this metacure just kind of cancel you out or leave you out there? But then we have unnecessary drama for ages, and then by the end of the episode, they go to Antarctica for some reason, or to not Antarctica. It was the Arctic or Antarctica. Well, Arctic and Antarctica, different places, but it was Antarctica, right? I think it was. It was Caitlin's dad's lab anyway, and then they decide, you know what? You're right, Cisco. We're gonna make a cure, except we're not gonna force it on anyone. And Cisco agrees, but it was pretty much his thing all along with he wasn't going to force on anybody, so I don't know why she's bringing it up now. But yeah, it was my least favorite part of the episode. It was problematic. It was an out-of-nowhere character arc, or it was an out-of-nowhere story arc, and I don't know what the point of it was, and I'm just happy that I hope that we never have to revisit that arc again. I hope it's an arc that just gets forgotten about, because it really wasn't interesting. I thought the whole Barry in the pipeline thing, I know how it was just a cover-up for Grant Gustin not being on set, but I actually thought it was a really fun and interesting thing to do, because most of the time when a character is out of commission for a while, we'll just see them in, I don't know, lying in the hospital bed or something, or they'll have their legs broken, they'll just kind of be walking around on crutches. We'll see them walk into a scene every 10 minutes just to get an update on them. No, but having Barry have to vibe through the building to get to the pipeline, the way it was timed, the way Cisco had to figure it out, and the way, like, now if you do this wrong, you're going to go right into the Earth's core and you're going to burn up. I thought that was a really cool thing to do, and it was just a unique way to bench Barry for the episode. And just pretty much every scene with him in the pipeline was really fun. I like how he was reading Mick's book, and it's because it's nice that we established towards the end of Legends of Tomorrow's first half of the season that Mick had finally finished his book. So it's nice to get these little canon tie-ins. It just makes the universe feel that much richer, and just makes the shows feel that much better the more when they're connected in little ways like this. We got a Waynetech tie-in with the car that Silver Ghost puts the dark matter technology into. We found out it was created by Waynetech. Another little tie-in, kind of reaffirming that Batwoman and all that is coming. I'm getting it. It's coming a little bit jarring because we are getting these little kind of tie-ins to Waynetech or little references to these characters every episode now, and it's like, we get it, okay? Maybe show a character once now and again, but you don't have to keep saying every episode that Waynetech created this, Waynetech created that. You know, we know they're coming. Finally, I should probably just bring up the whole Nora Thawne arc. So, it seems like the countdown, my thing on the countdown clock was that it's his execution. That's my interpretation of it. Because I know could be like it's counting down to him getting erased from existence, or it could count down to the timers coming from or whatever. That wouldn't make much sense to me, because why would there be a clock like that in his prison cell, which is obviously in the middle of Central City? I think it has to be something like it's counting down to his execution, and Eobard is slowly trying to kind of convince or manipulate Nora into breaking him out by saying, "Oh, I'm good now. Like, trust me. I may have killed your granny, but you know, no bad feelings between us, right? Just let me out of here, and we'll go save the multiverse or whatever." That's what he's trying to be doing, and of course Nora's gonna fall for it. What I want to know is there going to be a time down the season where Nora's going to have to choose between Eobard and Barry, and she might. I think it would be cool to see her choose Eobard, because Eobard's taught her most of what she knows, obviously, and Eobard's kind of been like a mentor to her, so Eobard's kind of been like a dad to her. Could she see Eobard as more of a dad than Barry, since Barry was gone for most of her life? It's something interesting I hope they kind of do. But I'm going to leave that there because there's not much else I want to talk about. But I would give this episode a 7.5 out of 10. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you very much, and have a great day.